I'm a 4-year student at Rutgers University, like I said, finance major, and I think I've learned more in your live calls than sitting in the classroom, and more applicable modern information than all like the Black Scholes model and all that stuff you learn in the classroom. Which I mean, it's good information. It's been around for a while, but you know,
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Riley, thank you so much for joining me. This is Clayton with another member review from the Centurion Education Group. We've known each other for quite some time, and I really appreciate your time today to answer some questions.
absolutely, absolutely, no problem.
All right.
Glad.
So, first question: where did you begin your background in trading and understanding the market?
So my trading journey started when I was about 2 years ago, 2019, when actually everything went down. Obviously, we don't know what happened then, and I was a freshman in college. I remember having a conversation with my roommate. I'm like, oh, like we were finance majors at the time, and actually I was accounting, but I changed. And so we had a conversation like, oh, everything's down. We downloaded Robinhood, and we bought some stocks. So I bought some Boeing when I was a freshman. It was like, it was dirt cheap at the time. It was on fire sale mode, and we so that was my introduction to market. Really, just everything was low. Everyone started talking about the stock market and said buy this, buy this. All the gurus were on Instagram and all that. Didn't really listen to them. But I remember buying Boeing, and I sold it for a year later, and I made probably 30% profit. And I remember then I was like, okay, there's money to be made in the stock market. My eyes opened a little bit, got my attention for sure. And yeah, basically that. I remember having a conversation with my roommate in our dorms. We were buying stock on Robinhood. We didn't know what we were doing at the time, but anyone could have bought anything and you would have made money. So that was my introduction. I wasn't, I didn't know a lot about the market at all.
Well, uh, airlines, Boeing specifically, took a major hit during COVID. I remember how far Boeing fell, and it was one of the first to rocket up, and then it just was not able to sustain that hyper growth that we saw in the latter half of 2019, 2020, that whole COVID time. But you got out for 30%, and that's a phenomenal return in 12 months, right? So, all right.
Yeah.
So what steps did you take to further that understanding, and did you join any groups or have a mentor?
So I did not really have a mentor until I joined Centurion group. So my friend, who Paulo, I go to school with him, and we were in our class, and I remember he was with a Discord group. He was a moderator within the group, and we were doing the live calls. So I joined there, and I started joining live calls. I still didn't know anything about the markets, wasn't trading, wasn't doing any of that, just passive investing, nothing crazy. And I started joining live calls. I wasn't trading. I was kind of just listening. I wasn't really talking much in the beginning, just listening, and I was just learning new things every day. It was amazing. Like I'm a 4-year student at Rutgers University, like I said, finance major, and I think I've learned more in your live calls than sitting in the classroom, and more applicable modern information than all like the Black Scholes model and all that stuff you learn in the classroom. Which I mean, it's good information. It's been around for a while, but you know, it's not as applicable as the stuff you guys teach. And no, so basically, like I said, I didn't have any market knowledge. I joined because I was introduced from the guy. I was in any Discord groups before that. Didn't even know Discord groups were a thing, to be honest. Um, yeah, so I was glad I joined a good one for sure. I got lucky in that regard.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. So,
Absolutely.
how long have you known me?
Probably, I would say the better half of a year, maybe around there, maybe less, a little more. I'm not sure specifically. Like I said, I wasn't talking much in the beginning. Now that I've been speaking more, asking more questions, obviously the learning has increased exponentially, but
Loud and
absolutely.
clear. Loud and clear. So, what has been your perspective or experience from the Discord and from live calls with me on a daily basis?
So the experience has been positive, obviously. Like I said, I've learned more just from listening into your live calls than any classroom's ever taught me. And I met some good friends in there. I would say Michael, as you know, I think you did an interview with him. Him and I we've been talking every day, and we have the same, ideology and thought process on day trading. So he's always someone I could go to for advice, whatever. He's a good guy. He always helps me out, which I appreciate. Um, yeah, just meeting, just be able to like see everybody in the Discord, and everyone has a different thought process. Everyone has a different like mentality when it comes to the markets. That's the thing I love about trading is there's no one way of doing it, and getting everybody's input and methodologies is amazing. Obviously, you just learn, and people from different age groups, backgrounds, etc. It's valuable information,
I think
especially
that
as
I think that's one of the biggest parts about having a community, right? So, as long as we've got a community, we've got new people coming into that community, you've got more access to a much larger network. And, having access to that network provides a lot of opportunity, which is one of my primary goals in building this. I'd love to have a community full of entrepreneurs, full of traders, investors, and whatever asset class they so choose. So, having a community together really allows us access to other folks and what it is that they know, and, as long as they're willing to share, which our group is. So, I appreciate that perspective very much. Next question would be, do you feel as though you can contact me at any time, ask me any questions that you have during the live call or at any point in the day?
yeah, absolutely. You're a great guy. I'm not gonna. You answer all my questions I've ever needed asked. Any advice I need. It's things you say. I'm like, oh, like why do you have this perspective, or why do you think about it this way? You always explain yourself, and yeah, I always learn something new. So
Well, I
it's
appreciate
great.
that. I appreciate that. So, from when you started your investment journey to present day, what have been some of the major changes?
So major changes I have made was, just now. I would say knowledge. I think we had a conversation of I was changing up my methodology on day trading because I wasn't really finding too much success. And you said, just take a step back. Like, you can run my model if you want, which I started paper trading to start it. Now I'm running it. It's a great thing. And just paper trade your strategy, your methodology for a year. Get those reps in, get used to it. So that was great. That's something I needed to hear. Like I knew it was something I knew I should do, but just hearing it from like you, Michael said the same thing. It was just it was something I needed to hear, even though I knew I just needed it reinforced on that. And yeah, a lot's changed. Like I said, I've been running your wheel, your strategy that you like, um, that you utilize, and it's been absolutely amazing creating all that cash flow on the weekly basis. And it's not day trading. It's not you're not sweating through your trade. It's controlled. It's yeah, it's a lot less stressful to say the least.
Well, good. I'm glad you're seeing those kinds of results, and that's one of the primary reasons why I do it. The wheel provides incredible cash flow depending upon what you're using it on, right? And then you can use that cash flow to dollar cost average, and it's calm, right? You know that you have a way in and out of every situation, and going in exactly what's going to happen with the trade, and you really do not necessarily need to have an excess amount of planning. So it really helps to not be sweating, for 3 hours, 2 hours, maybe 30 minutes while you're in a trade. So I'm glad that that's been helpful for you. So, as a trader, as a man, as a student, whatever it may be, what are some of the things that you need to improve on?
For me, is just taking those A+ trades, really staying disciplined with staying patient with the trades I take. Sometimes you can trade out of boredom, which I found myself doing in the beginning. I was just like, oh, and then you enter the market and you question yourself, why did I enter the market? This is not like under control. I don't know what my risk is. When I was just starting, my risk management was just trash. It was terrible. I would physically like hang on to trades because I didn't want to admit I was wrong. How every trader goes through it. Everyone who trades knows what I'm talking about. And basically, yeah, as what I've learned is just from you guys, just you gotta know your risk. You gotta know what you're shooting for with your take profits, and you want everything in control. Just discipline, I would say, is the most important thing people don't talk about. Everyone wants to tell you about their best strategy, whatever, EMA strategy, whatever, yada yada yada. And discipline, I think, in psychology is probably more important than all that stuff. So that's something I've being in the live calls for sure.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Something that a lot of folks need to be reminded of, right? So you can post all the big plays you want, take all the best trades in the world, but what matters is how'd you do that month, right? How'd you do that year? Are you net negative? Hey, you got a $20,000 trade in 30 minutes. That's great. What does your annual look like, right? So, and that annual comes from your discipline, because everybody can do something for 30 minutes and get lucky and do it right once, but can you do it over and over and over and over again, right? Very, very important point. So, how has your trading and understanding of the market changed since you and I met?
So my eyes have been open to, like I said, we mentioned the wheel earlier, just a different strategy, not just going on there day trading every day. What I've learned too is you shouldn't really trade every day. Some days it's just going to go sideways. Like those big news days is really when your eyes should be locked in the market. And yeah, like my eyes have opened. Like I said, the wheel strategy is something I never heard of. Your ETFs, you praise, T triple Q and all that good stuff. The leverage ETFs is something I never thought about or heard of before the live calls. It's just they always get QQQ and SPY like the two. I didn't know about all these leverage ETFs, which obviously you can utilize to your benefit greatly. And yeah, I would just say more strategies. Like I said, from a live call, you hear a bunch of other people's mindsets on what's happening currently in the market. So just seeing like what they're seeing, like if your eyes are telling the same thing, like I said, the market can tell a different story for every trader. So just like I said, just more information, more strategies and stuff. What I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. So have any of your habits changed since you started listening to me or since you met me in the live call every day?
I definitely do a lot more preparation. I would say on market before. I mean, I remember when I started trading, I was rolling into the charts at like 9:15, and that's not ideal. Obviously, you want to get up and you want to be up by 8:30 at least. I would say to like for the news events and all that. You can see pre-market how it reacts. So habit, yeah, I mean, that's a habit that's changed. Other than that, probably that's like way more discipline when it comes to trading. It's more of a business rather than like a hobby, which Michael taught me that as well, which I liked a lot. Yeah, you gotta have a business mindset when it comes to it if you want to stay in the game for a while. Like you obviously have that, which I watch you, and that inspires me. So yeah, I would say just those two key things. I mean, on a regular basis, probably more discipline within my life as well, which translates to trading. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. So, when our Discord ultimately becomes paid, do you believe that a $50 per month price tag is fair for the value and information that we try to offer?
Yes, I would say absolutely. $50 a month is cheaper than 90% of those discords out there, and the value you're getting from the Discord, yeah, $50 a month is, I would say, a great deal. Definitely reasonable. Nothing, no problem with that. For the like you said, with the information you're getting daily, the updates, the different perspectives, the list goes on. It's the value is there, so yeah, no problem with that at all.
I know a lot of folks say that, hey, you take one trade from us and you'll make your monthly right there. But a lot of these traders are not. They don't have the win rate or the percent return, or they're using an unbelievable amount of capital that's not sustainable for most folks. And when I say you can run one covered call and you could pay for your monthly, and that covered call lasts you 2 days, I mean, you've seen that firsthand. That's all right. I took a covered call. It's done the next day, and there's my monthly right there in 2 days. So, and you're not locking up a whole lot of capital to do it either, which is also phenomenal. And that's something that I'm very confident with. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but this month I've taken a loss on one covered call trade, and then I've taken no losses whatsoever on covered puts. So if we're looking at that kind of accuracy, right, the probability is that you'll get your one covered call, and whatever strategy you're deploying. If it's something similar to mine or covered calls on your own individual security or ETFs, That one covered call, boom, monthly's covered, done. Right? So
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the premiums there obviously every time. So it's a very high win rate, like you said, and $50 a month is that's one of them, like you said. So very reasonable price.
I appreciate that very much. So last question for you. What can I, in any form or fashion, improve on?
I would say, hmm, I would say maybe just getting. I would say maybe like incorporating more information. I don't know, like live information. I know you guys have the announcements page, which I know Sorter runs, and he's been on top of that. Like putting like live news events and stuff. I would say maybe just I don't know. I wouldn't. I know nothing in my head really sticks out. I would say just maybe yeah, incorporating more like lot specific like news, like current news events that could affect the market in any type of way. Um, just speaking upon that, like we do in the live call though, so it's nothing. But maybe like your own post about it and like your opinion and something expanding upon your thought process on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that. Nothing. Nothing comes to my mind that sticks out. So I wouldn't. If I think of something, I'll definitely let you know. But as of right now, there's nothing.
And then just a follow-up question to that quickly. Is there anything that you enjoy having or would like to have within the Discord once it goes paid as a part of our primary offering?
I would say maybe some. I know we have the members plays. I know maybe. Maybe just a couple more analysts just to see like just to put in. Obviously, like I said, you never want to take analyst trades like that. But just it's good to see what the analysts are seeing. So obviously you can look at it and come to your own conclusion of what they're seeing.
Absolutely.
And you're. So I would just say that maybe a couple more analysts just to get more professional opinions. Other than that, I couldn't ask for much more from the Discord. You guys are pretty on top of it.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's something we're definitely going to take into consideration. We are very, very strict with our vetting process, and I biggest thing for me is there's a good handful of traders out there that do very well, but what's their consistency and who are they as individuals, right? If I'm going to have somebody in the server communicating with other folks, do I want to be friends with them, right? Are they somebody I invite in my own home? And a lot of these traders are so ego fueled and so focused on how phenomenal they are as a trader, if they even are phenomenal. But again, that vetting process is strict, and we want to make sure we're bringing quality, not quantity, in that regard. So I appreciate that very much, and that's something we're definitely going to take into consideration. So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate all your answers to the questions and your input and your different perspectives. So thank you again.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
you do. So, you enhance your own product. It speaks volumes.
Thank you. And I'll continue to do my best.
Appreciate it, man.